Story 1. Thank them for the little things they do. They took out the garbage or swept under the table. Acknowledge these small acts so they know you see them and all they do for you and the family. It is important to recognize the big things, but the little things often go unnoticed. Relationships crumble easily when one or both people do not feel valued. Never let your significant other go unappreciated. This not only makes them feel valued, but also helps remind you of all they do for you. Story 2. Couples counseling is not only for relationships that have issues. We went through a traumatic experience together and decided to attend counseling to work through it. We have found it helpful for understanding how we each process things differently and have different communication styles. Story 3. My great aunt told me, we were lucky enough to never fall out of love with each other at the same time. This has proven to be very true. You will fall in and out of love like a roller coaster, but remember that falling back in not only happens, it is generally 10 times better than the last time. We all change, we all learn, and we all adapt. There is absolutely nothing wrong with ending up as those reliable old slippers that fit perfectly. Story 4. Never take revenge, especially on your spouse. If he or she hurts you, tell him or her. Do not say or do something to hurt them in order to feel justified. Story 5. I don't know if it's unorthodox, but you can be right or you can be happy. If it really doesn't matter, just let it go instead of arguing to be right. Have your own interests. Everyone says do things together and you should, that's important, but you need a release that's just for you. Mine is martial arts, hers is running. Go to bed angry. Sleep on it. You will have a fresh perspective in the morning. This is contrary to popular advice. Story 6. Do not fall into the trap of thinking you have to do everything and be together all the time. Personal space is important. Story 7. We have a rule that you never lie about being okay. If you feel something is off and you ask the other person if everything is all right, it is not allowed to say things are okay if something is wrong. It is allowed to say, I don't feel like talking about it right now, or something similar, and you respect that. It provides a sense of peace to always know you don't have to guess what the other person is feeling or try to understand if you have done something wrong and they are angry with you. It is difficult to accept that something is wrong and the other person is annoyed and wait until they are ready to discuss it. But it is worth it because you can always trust when they say they are okay. They also have the chance to think about what made them sad, angry, or annoyed and have a mature conversation about it instead of being pushed to talk when they are still angry. Story 8. Talk them up to others. Praise them, highlight the good things they do, and make them sound fantastic. Do not lie, genuinely emphasize the things you love about them. They are your favorite person. Be an unashamed fan. Story 9. Don't try to change them. It all falls apart when you do that. Choose who you involve yourself with carefully from the start, and assume they are a finished product, not a work in progress. Make sure they have the qualities you look for and that you can live with their defects. Story 10. It is not healthy to expect your spouse to fulfill every role in your life. If you expect them to be your best friend, lover, co-parent, confidant, biggest supporter, sounding board, and advisor, you are likely to end up disappointed and resentment will build up. Build your own community of trusted friends, family, and colleagues to fulfill different needs. Story 11. Tons of excellent advice here about what to do after you are married. I have a good one for before. Marry up. My wife is truly a better person than I am. She is calmer, more thoughtful, cleaner, and a harder worker. Being with someone better than you inspires you to be better. The best part is, I'm pretty sure she feels the same way about me. Story 12. If they are going to cheat, policing them will not prevent that. In 21 years of marriage, I have never opened my husband's mail, looked through his mobile phone, checked his email account, or his direct messages on social media. If he betrays me, I will deal with it when it happens. But it seemed pointless to marry someone I did not trust completely, so I went into this relationship with the attitude that he loves me and I have nothing to worry about, and it has served me well. He has always respected the faith I have in him. He has given that same trust in me. That is why we work so well together. Story 13. Actually like and respect the person you marry. It may sound like simple and basic advice, but many people, especially young people, Confuse being attracted to someone with actually liking and respecting who they are as a person. While it is fine to disagree on some subjects, nothing harms a relationship more than discovering you differ on something fundamentally important. Take the time to get to know each other. People often rush toward the wedding or marriage as if it is the end goal, when the truth is that the end goal is the life you build together. It is worth taking the time to ensure you are truly compatible and to build a strong foundation that can withstand whatever challenges life presents. Story 14. Play together. Be silly, goofy, or calm, but play with your spouse. Find a mutual game or activity you both enjoy and make a point to engage in play. Psychologically, play is one of the best forms of learning. Engaging in it with your partner means you are learning together, which increases feelings of bonding and unity. Be aware of how each of you reacts to competitive play, as strong competitiveness may lead to hurt feelings. Play does not necessarily mean a game. Activities like dancing spontaneously, dressing up in silly outfits and going to lunch, reading bad stories aloud in funny voices, doing art together, or casually throwing or kicking a ball are all play. Find what works for both of you and make time for it. Story 15. We tell each other to go away, lovingly. I love you, it's 11:30. I do not want to talk about world politics, go away. I am using the kitchen to make dinner, go away. You can unload the dishwasher later. It started with me being annoyed by his unspoken expectations that I would know what he wanted and his frustration with my polite hints that I would want to go to bed and stop talking. It boiled down to, I can work with go away. I can't work with subtle hints or unspoken expectations. Sometimes we use it in a positive way. Go away and play your video games or go to bed. When one of us has a handle on a situation and the other is clearly burnt out or tired, we never use it during arguments or in anger. When we do that, we say, I need a break, or I can't do this right now, let's talk later. Story 16. I think you need to make sure you are compatible before getting married, or there is not much you can do. Also, make sure you genuinely like the person you marry. I see many couples' interactions and cannot imagine that these people truly care about each other. I just woke up from a bad dream and was sweaty. I was upset because my spot was damp, and he rolled over to my side and lifted the blanket so I could lie on his dry side. Story 17. Marry someone you would be best friends with. Anyone can build kinks and compatibility. The 90% that makes the rest of life is the hard part. If you find yourself arguing, look at your partner. Really look at them. Is this the person you're angry at and want to take a piece out of? Or are you upset about something else and they are the closer target? Before you marry someone, think about this. Intimacy, dating, romance, that's good. But would you have fun going grocery shopping with this person? How about walking around a huge community yard sale? If you were playing Family Feud in front of all your friends or on national television, would you want this person next to you even if it meant losing? Story 18. You, your partner, and any children you have are a complete family. Your parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins are secondary to your family with your partner and children. This does not mean ignoring or hating them or never asking for their help. It means you need to prioritize your partner and children above them. The same applies to your partner because it is you, them, and your children versus the problem. Story 19. Keep both separate bank accounts and joint bank accounts. Assign roles to the joint accounts such as housing, gas, groceries, and kids. Set up automatic transfers from your separate accounts to the joint accounts and get everyone debit cards for the joint accounts. This is the easiest way to plan expenses since you set it up once and it can run on autopilot until your expenses change. It also prevents arguments about money because you agree on contribution levels during setup. Any money not in a joint account is personal money, so no discussion is needed or accepted. Story 20. Just because you have not been able to communicate a thought in the moment does not mean you cannot communicate it later in a different conversation. Do not stop trying to express yourself. It took my wife months to find the right words to say, I love being touched by you, but I do not want to engage in sexual edging all day like you do. This was eye-opening and finally helped me understand why she was open to me being a bit more grabby like that sometimes, and other times not. She always loved and gave me consent to touch, but understanding the timing of why she enjoyed it and why she did not makes it all the better. Story 21. Marriage isn't hard. If you love each other, it is the easiest decision you will make and happily dedicate yourself to at every opportunity. Does it take effort? Of course. Are they worth the effort? Every time. Story 22. It's not about intimacy. My partner and I have been happily married for over 10 years, and we do not feel the need to be intimate all the time. What matters to us is open communication. I don't think either of us has a secret the other does not know about. There is also respect. There are topics in my life I do not want to talk about, and he respects that and does not push. Story 23. Have plenty of hobbies and activities to do separately. That way, no one expects to spend all their time together, so you do not get fed up with each other. Story 24. Give 100% to the relationship. Expect 80% in return. If both do this, there is a 40% overlap of in return expectations. Story 25. Never give up on each other. Married 35 years this year. We have been through job losses, financial difficulties, family challenges, health problems, and more. We fought through them all. We value our love and truly like each other. Both partners have to want the relationship. Abuse is a deal breaker, of course. Story 26. Be genuinely kind to your partner every day. Every single day, do something to make their life better. A compliment, intimacy, their least favorite chore, a small gift, a date. Let them hear you speaking highly of them. A little more affection than usual, something kind and genuine. If this seems like too much, if you think they don't deserve it, do not marry them. Story 27. As someone else said, try to outlove each other just because you do. We try to beat each other every New Year's to see who will say I love you first. That person gets to say, I said it first this year. I love you more. It's silly, yes, but it keeps us sweet and always trying to show each other how we feel. Story 28. It is never exactly 50-50. Some days your spouse will contribute more and some days you will. The point is that it should feel equal in the long run. Story 29. The whole don't go to bed angry advice is false. I can honestly say my partner and I have gone to bed after an argument several times in separate bedrooms, and by morning we were able to have a conversation with far less heated emotion as we were both tired. A good night's sleep and rest can help emotions simmer and allow for better communication. Story 30. Go to bed angry. And don't kick them out of their own bed. This means how to properly exit an argument in a polite, respectful way. My family all told me to never go to bed angry, to fight it out until it's done. We disagree. Sometimes you reach a point where you're just not productive anymore in your argument. You need to table it, digest it, and come back to it later. My 8-year-old saw my husband and me disagree on something a few weeks ago. We were frustrated and speaking sternly but not yelling or insulting. Later I found her, and she was upset. I explained to her that arguments aren't bad. No two people will always agree. You can respectfully argue with others and still be polite and kind. In that argument, my husband got to that point. He just didn't want to talk anymore. So he said we'd come back to it later. I told her that was the most mature way to exit an argument. Once I explained to her that the word argument isn't a bad word and doesn't mean yelling, she felt better. Going to bed angry lets you calm down in a safe space, get some rest, and often, things look very different in the new daylight. Don't kick people out of their own rooms or beds. If they want to sleep on the couch, that's their choice. But you don't get to tell them they can't rest in their own space. Of course, this excludes anything very serious like cheating. Story 31. Make each other laugh and be intimate. You don't need to become an adult just because you are married or have become parents. Keep doing the silly things that made each other laugh when you first met. Story 32. Reading romance novels, dark romance, reverse harem, monster smut, or any genre with well-described romance leading to sex will do wonders for a woman's libido. Husbands should be happy if their wives enjoy reading. Books are cheaper than marriage counseling, and you cannot convince me that sparking more sex between a couple will not lead to a happier relationship. Story 33. I think ours is that we had relationships before that were less than ideal, and our tolerance level for nonsense is gone. We are open about everything and we try new things all the time. She is my best friend. She knows my humor, we have all the inside jokes, and we trust each other without question. Since we had kids, there have been trying times, but if you are there for your significant other when they need you, they should be there for you. We also just do the daily grind, just get it over with and then play. Also, rest and take turns sleeping in if you have kids. The extra rest is worth its weight in gold. Story 34. Don't keep things to yourself. Communication is key. My wife told me after more than 8 years that she felt frustrated about her career. She had 3 children, was seeing me working and having responsibilities, and people were sometimes happy or impressed, while she had to stop working. This made her feel insecure. It took her a long time, but she finally told me how she felt. She has imposter syndrome. We discussed it a lot and she felt reassured. She was very stressed and under pressure when she was about to start looking for a job. I told her to take it easy, no pressure. She was convinced she was not good enough and would not find anything. And guess what? She was contacted and got a job before even starting to actively search. It was a 9-month replacement. And guess what? She hasn't finished her replacement and is already in a new recruitment process. She had her 3rd interview yesterday. She was in a bad mood since Wednesday. She finally told me that she felt she should not continue this recruitment process because she might have to travel 3 days a month. I travel 1 day a week. Her mother said that my boss, who is my wife's father, would not like it if we travel too much in case one of our children gets sick and we need to stay at home and take turns watching them. She was about to sacrifice a very good opportunity, but she told me about it. I told her to ignore her mother, and she went to see my boss, her father. He told her the same. The interview went very well, and she is very excited. A couple of years ago, I'm not sure she would have told me about it before the interview. Story 35. Try to outserve your partner, not just on the tennis court but also in general activities such as cooking, cleaning, and caring. Story 36. Have a very small number of things you truly care about. Go with the flow. For example, I have had friends confused about why I was not arguing with my wife over which country we were to vacation in Europe. I get to go on vacation in Europe. It is all good. Story 37. Have separate blankets. Seriously, sleep is sacred, and nothing tests your love like a 3 a.m. tug of war over covers. Story 38. The person you marry will not stay the same, and neither will you. People do change, and growth is an important part of life. Be prepared to grow alongside your partner, to learn about them every day and yourself too. You need to take responsibility for your own growth, and remember that while you are not responsible for their growth, you can support and help them along the way. Story 39. Married male, 25 years. Never overly criticize, complain, or share overly personal details about your relationship with any immediate family member such as a parent, sibling, or grandparent. If you need to complain or vent to a trusted friend or your therapist, do so. Your marriage should be the most important, valued, cherished, and protected relationship you have. I remember once my wife telling me how her brother asked her and her mother, my mother-in-law, if his wife was being unreasonable about a specific situation. He said, "I think she is wrong and unreasonable. Do you think she is wrong and being unreasonable?" This was more than something trivial. I felt he should not have shared this or asked this question of his mom and sister because he was basically asking them to judge his wife's character. Again, seeking advice or asking the question was not the issue. It was who he was sharing it with. I love my mother, but when I married my wife, she became the most important woman in my life. I have never criticized or complained about my wife to my mother. Story 40. You know how you maintain your car, your job, your friendships, your house, your lawnmower, and everything else? You need to maintain your marriage. Story 41. There really is no unorthodox advice. It is the same advice that people repeat. Find the right person, be loyal, share chores, share wins and losses together, support your spouse through sickness and health, thick and thin, the good and the bad. What else would you need? Story 42. Do not use the words all the time or not at all when you find yourself complaining about something your spouse does. Story 43. Touch every day. It does not always have to be sexual. It can be holding hands, kissing a shoulder, squeezing a hand, grabbing a butt, or just random hugs. Story 44. Love is a wonderful feeling, but it does not make a marriage or relationship work. It does not make a relationship healthy, nor does love mean someone will be a good life partner. A relationship is only as healthy as both partners are. A partnership will only withstand trials if both partners can. If you want a good life partner, be one first. Go to therapy. Heal your trauma and work through your issues. We all have them. Focus on emotional regulation and good communication skills. If you do that and your partner does the same, you greatly increase your chances of having a marriage that adds to your life more than it ever feels hard. A good partner will make your life easier, not harder. I wish I could scream this to single people from mountaintops. This applies to married people too, but often I have seen friends and acquaintances realize they are working on themselves and their marriage, but their spouse is not. It is much easier to break up than it is to get divorced, even though divorce is sometimes a good decision. Story 45. Accept that it does not have to be perfect. You will not always be on the same team as your partner, and that is okay. You will not always be completely happy, and that is okay. You are a team building a future for yourself and your children, if you have them. In any team, there will be moments of friction. As long as you can value each other and work together as a team, you are doing well. Story 46. Learn how to argue. There will be fights and disagreements, so learn how to do that without hurting the other person. In my marriage, we are not allowed to insult or swear at each other when there is a fight. We keep our voices down and remind each other when the volume gets too high. We have gone from having explosive fights where it feels like the world is ending to being able to silently and calmly hear the other person out. No interrupting, no sighing, no storming off, just listening. Story 47. Do not keep score. There will be times when you do the heavy lifting in the relationship, and then the roles will switch. There will be times when you have to be the rock, and then the roles will switch. Just tackle the projects and work as a team. Story 48. Admit when you are wrong. Most of the time, when my partner brings something up that they are upset about, I look at it and say, yes, you are absolutely right. Let me fix, work on, or prevent that. We have had very few arguments and are seldom upset with each other. They are your best friend. That piece of paper or agreement makes the rest of your life a three-legged race. You may not go very fast, but it does not work if you are not pulling in the same direction. Story 49. Marriage is not always an equal partnership. Some days it is equal, some days it is uneven. You will always have that ebb and flow. Just go with it. Story 50. 2 separate blankets in bed. It is the most freeing thing ever. Want to cuddle before bed? Share a blanket, but when it is sleep time, each goes to their own. Do this once and you will sleep much better. Story 51. We have a rule that if you start to say something, you have to finish it. It may sound silly, but it prevents issues from festering and helps us think before speaking. Story 52. Humor. Laughing together is very important. Also loyalty. We do not do that silly, yes, my wife or husband does this nonsense. We really do not. It is idiotic to pick at each other, to others, or directly. It is very helpful that my husband is awesome, though. Story 53. 2 comforters. You sleep in the same bed, but both of you need a different comforter. No fighting for the blanket, no freezing or overheating, no accidental kicking in your sleep. It is amazing. Story 54. It's not happy wife, happy life. It's happy spouse, happy house. You are a team. Talk things out and compromise. You are not always going to get what you want, but neither are they. If one of you constantly insists on doing things your way with no consideration for the other, then you are not in a happy marriage. Story 55. Just say yes, dear, and move on. Nah, I joke. Remember that because they are your married partner, they can still be your friend. My wife and I regularly go out for a drink, a meal, or a show, and in those moments we get to share, she is more than a wife. She is my close friend, 100% loyal. It is always important to remember that. Story 56. Get past farting early in your relationship. Also, Accept that both of you have the maturity level of a teenager and laugh at silly things. Story 57. A few things. Very few things are worth being angry about long term. Have separate hobbies and spaces. Kind gestures do not need to be reciprocal. Do the dishes. Story 58. Small considerations that make life easier. We had a power outage, which meant I had to get into the garage on a wet, miserable night after a night shift. Before he went to bed, my husband manually opened the door, so I only had to roll it down manually. It is possibly the most romantic thing anyone has done for me because not having to get out, let myself into the house, roll up the door higher than my arms could reach, then get back in the car, all while the lights were out, is worth much more than chocolates and flowers. Story 59. I don't know if this counts as unorthodox, but the way my wife and I view any problems is that it is her and me versus the problem, not her versus me versus the problem. That seems to have really helped. Story 60. I have been married for 33 years. You will fight over many things in your marriage, and most of them are inconsequential. If you never say anything hurtful during your disagreements, they will soon be forgotten. But if you say something hurtful, it will haunt you throughout your marriage. This is the best advice I ever received, and in turn, I give it to everyone I know who is getting married. Story 61. Just doing little things like the dishes, cleaning up randomly, and taking out the trash. You may not get a thanks as you get into the same routines every day, but I think those little things help, and my wife sees it. We both like our own space and are very much individuals even though we are married. She has her shows she watches and I have my hobbies, gaming, or going for hikes. Letting the other person do things on their own is also fine and good. Not everything has to be together. Story 62. 1. Do not deceive each other. The married home is the one place where you can be completely vulnerable and brutally honest. White lies lead to worse outcomes and then trust breaks down. Allow the other person to change. I once read that over the course of a 40-year marriage, you are married to at least 4 different versions of that person. Give the other person room to change. Grow with them if you can. Remember the little things. Grand gestures can be romantic, but over time start to feel like more of a burden. I had to do some shopping today and I asked my wife what brand of tampons I should bring. She did not put them on the list, but I know she is running low on them. She appreciated me thinking of it more than some grand gesture I tried to impress her with years ago. Story 63. The longer you are together, the more kindness, care, and consideration you need. You know too much about each other that can be used against each other and cause permanent damage. The first thought should always be, am I being caring and kind with what I am about to say? Story 64. Schedule activities you always enjoy together, such as intimacy, dancing, and taking walks. Life gets busy, so ensuring that simple activities you do together happen regularly helps maintain a strong relationship. Story 65. Never get comfortable telling each other, I hate you, or using insults, even as a joke or playfully. If you become too comfortable saying these things playfully, you may end up saying them in arguments to hurt each other. Story 66. The 2 pieces of advice I can offer are, 1. Celebrate the big and small together. Someone gets a promotion, celebrate together. Someone completes a video game or a puzzle, celebrate together. Essentially, take joy in the big and small things together. 2. Be weird together. My wife and I are weirdos, and it keeps things fun being weird together. Story 67. The secret to a happy marriage is 2 bathrooms, or at least 1 full bathroom and 1 half bathroom. I am kind of joking, but mostly serious. Story 68. Learn and understand that material things are not nearly as important as your relationships. We went from having everything, a stunning house on the beach, cash to do whatever we wanted, to nothing overnight. I remember one of the first days when my wife suggested soup for lunch. Then we realized we didn't own a spoon. We literally rolled around in laughter, because it didn't matter. We had what was important, each other. Story 69. Sleep with separate blankets. Say thank you instead of I am sorry. Thank you is an expression of gratitude that makes the other person feel valued. I am sorry is a request for reassurance, comfort, and forgiveness. One is a gift, the other is a burden. Try saying, "Thank you for helping me," instead of, "I am sorry you had to help." However, also say sorry during fights, whatever your part in it. Saying sorry goes a long way toward reconciliation. Story 70. Never eat the last bit of your partner's favorite food. Save them at least a small portion. Story 71. Do not compliment the things she bought, made, or chose. Compliment how the items make her look. It is a totally different tone to say, "That is a beautiful dress," which sounds like, "Yes, that is why I bought it," versus, "You look beautiful in that dress." Story 72. You do not have to agree on everything, but you certainly have to pick your battles. You must have enough self-awareness to understand that you can also be annoying and wrong sometimes. When you are wrong, acknowledge it, apologize if you were not kind, and let go of the topic. If you have accepted an apology from your spouse, do not bring it up again. Lack of communication, self-awareness, and harboring resentment for past conflicts do not create a happy marriage. Story 73, 22 years and counting. My stream of consciousness regarding why I think we work, using things other people do to make me raise an eyebrow as influence. We share finances. We have one bank account, shared credit cards, and are co-signed on all loans. There is no my money and his money. It's ours. In that vein, no big purchases are made without discussion and agreement, except for birthdays and holiday gifts. Everything is put on the table so we can keep our budget in check. We do not agree on everything, but we support each other unequivocally. We have our own interests. He loves baseball and I love crafting. I go to games with him and help plan trips for him. He gives me space to work on my crafts and go supply shopping with me. We have shared hobbies and make time to do those on a regular basis. We don't nag or expect each other to do things. For example, right now I'm watching TV while my husband is preparing dinner. He won't ask for help unless something goes wrong. He does it all, prepping, cooking, and setting the table. Later, I'll be bathing the little one and cleaning up the bathroom at the same time. I won't ask for help or expect it. If I feel like getting up to set the table, I will, and he'll thank me for it. If he comes up tonight to help with bedtime, I would react the same. We do our parts in the house and get what needs to be done without resentment or expectation of help. My husband has never babysat or watched our kids alone. Instead, he is the parent on duty at times, and that duty is evenly shared. I have never had to ask for time for myself, and neither has he. We tag team the hard stuff. If either of us needs a break, the other steps in. We share every burden. We face life together. At the end of the day, I have him and he has me. I have never doubted that for a second. I know there's more, but this feels like a good start. Story 74. Do not keep score. It is not 50-50. It is 100% for each person. If one is constantly worried about whose turn it is to do something like dishes or laundry, that person can easily become resentful or upset the other by telling them whose turn it is to do a chore. Story 75. Support them in public and keep your relationship off social media. Also, be honest and maintain open lines of communication. Story 76. Act like what your puppy would do. Kiss your partner goodbye before they leave and greet your partner happily right after they return. Little things add up. Story 77. If you are having an argument and your partner suddenly tries to walk away from it, let them. They may have realized they are in the wrong and are thinking of a way to back away from their original point while saving some of their dignity. However, if your partner does walk away suddenly from a fight, they must be the one to initiate conversation afterward, or else they are just being inconsiderate. Story 78. Freedom and space are important. We maintain these two things in our married life. Marriage is not to burden each other, but to support one another. Marriage is the best relationship in this world and heaven. Story 79. 2 bathrooms, or at least separate toothbrush drawers. Nothing kills the vibe like fighting over sink space. Story 80. Respect each other's individuality, perspectives, weaknesses, and strengths. Also, find out what the other person wants and provide it without them asking. Story 81. Still date each other. Do not wait until things fall apart to get romantic again. Keep it going so it never fades. Story 82. The problem might be its own solution. Do not try to solve everything. Learn quickly when to take the loss or the win, and then immediately learn to remain silent. Always trust and always verify, especially with allegations of any kind coming toward your partner from outside sources. Prove your loyalty to each other through actions. If anyone tries to change someone else and does not instinctively feel they can accept the person as they are, then they are not good for each other. Divorce should be considered. Story 83. A relationship is a team. A team focuses on the team's goals first. What do we want to achieve together? Then you ask what you want to achieve individually, not the other way around. I put my partner's needs above my own, but I put both of our needs first and foremost. We need the mortgage paid. We need to be happy and healthy. We need to plan for a long retirement. We need an emergency fund in case things go wrong tomorrow. We need plans in place if something happens to one of us and we are not around or not able to support the other due to illness, accident, or other reasons. If one of us wants a new television or a new motorbike, the first question is, can we achieve this without harming ourselves today, tomorrow, or in the future? The second question is, would one of us getting what they want cause the other to lose out on something? If so, that is not an automatic deal breaker, as one can sacrifice something for the other. If you go into a relationship putting yourself first, you will fail. If you go into it putting the other person first, it can still fail. If you go into it prioritizing both of you, you have a chance to succeed. Also, have separate blankets. If you cannot describe personal matters to another person, you probably should not marry them and should keep dating them. Relationships die when either person stops trying. Story 84. Actually see each other. Understand, know, nurture, and heal your inner child and theirs in the process. Have fun with it all. Be goofy. Understand that you are with an individual, and you yourself are an individual. Act accordingly. Have a life that doesn't fully rely on them. Have hobbies, passions, and friends separate from them. Your partner is not your therapist, parent, or free employee. Be humans together. Story 85. Have the fight even if you need to cool off first. If you do not, you will end up with simmering resentment. Always come back together afterwards. It is not easy or comfortable, but expressing how you both feel is better than letting minor issues build into major ones. Story 86. Do not let your pride or ego rule, especially during small disagreements. Approach situations gently and always be willing to listen and consider others' thoughts and feelings before responding or acting. Story 87. It is perfectly fine to go to bed angry. Most of the time, it is forgotten about in the morning after you have had a proper sleep. Story 88. Don't expect your partner to be the be-all and end-all. You need family and friends too. You will have the same arguments repeatedly until they become a joke and you laugh about them, or you get divorced. My husband and I will never agree on the correct route to take somewhere, and it has become a family joke. Many things like that just don't matter in the end. Story 89. Now I understand that this is not an option for most families, but sending our children to overnight camp for a few weeks each summer allows us to reconnect as a couple. It also gives us a sense of what things will be like once the children leave home or when they are not the main topic of conversation. Story 90. Do not force your relationship into traditional roles if they do not work for you. Find a dynamic that makes you both happy. My husband and I fought constantly when we were both working. We fought constantly when he was working and I stayed home. Then we had a heart-to-heart. I like working and making money. I like leaving my house every day to do something that helps others. I need that to be happy. Sitting at home cleaning all day makes me miserable. My husband hates going to work. It makes him feel awful. He enjoys being home, keeping the house, and doing the cooking. It makes him happy. Since we switched to this dynamic, we have not fought once. If we had stuck to traditional roles, I am convinced we would have been on the road to divorce. Story 91. Ruth Bader Ginsburg would say, in marriage, it is good to be a little deaf sometimes. You do not need to react to every careless comment made when someone is stressed, tired, or has just expressed themselves poorly. Pretend you did not hear it and move on. Save your energy for when something important really needs to be discussed. Story 92. My father's advice to me, which I took to heart, was to do something every day to make your spouse's life a little easier. Story 93. If you criticize your partner about the little things, they will hide the big things. Also, you both know each other better than anyone else, so ignore most internet advice. Story 94. My husband and I both feel the other person is the more attractive one in the relationship. We each believe we married up. I think it is a great sign when you genuinely believe that because it helps you appreciate your partner without taking them for granted. We also thank each other for everything. It is our money in the bank account, but when he uses his card to pay, I say thank you. He also bought a monthly flower delivery that happens on the first of every month. He sets it up and forgets it, and I receive a beautiful bouquet without having to ask for it. That just because gifts go a long way, no matter how big or small. Story 95. Spend a lot of time together so you truly become best friends and can't wait to see each other every day. Talk about everything, dream together, and laugh together. I have been married for 23 years, and I get excited coming home to catch up with my husband, and the feeling seems to be mutual. We both work full-time and have a child who keeps us busy. We have joint social lives as well as separate ones, so time together is precious. Like all rare things, it is to be treasured. Story 96. Listen to them talk about their special interests and hobbies. Be present when they share the little things about themselves. Always encourage your partner in their passions. My husband has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and gets into new things constantly. I love listening to him talk at length about all the little details of things he loves and the information he finds from researching new topics. He does the same for me. We share our favorite things with each other without worrying about being annoying or burdensome. It's a small thing that makes life enjoyable and brings us closer. Story 97. I don't know how unorthodox these are, but they work for us. We are often alone together, we spend time together but each doing our own thing. Weird, but it works for us. We have yours, mine, and ours finances. I know this contradicts many financial experts, but it has been working for us for 20 years. We have joint accounts for joint expenses, house, kids, home maintenance, utilities, and so on. Then we have personal accounts, both checking and credit card, for personal expenses, cars, entertainment, hobbies, clothing, and so forth. My husband has no idea what I spend my money on, and I have no idea what he spends his money on, and neither of us cares. We do not answer to each other for that money. We married later in life and enjoy maintaining this small amount of financial independence. Furthermore, that money is used for any help family may want or need. We both agreed that our respective families will not be given money from our joint account. That is for immediate family only. If one of us decides to give money to extended family, it must be done from personal funds only. Again, no argument, no discussion. It is a personal decision. We also each manage our own retirement accounts. We know what the other has in those accounts, but we each manage them as we see fit. We have different outlooks on it, and it is just not worth the argument. Our mental load is truly split, and this has been a lifesaver personally. I handle cleaning, bills, laundry, kids' activities, and transportation. He handles grocery shopping, cooking, kids' medical and dental bookings and appointments, except emergencies. That is handled by whoever is more easily available. Other tasks we split: home maintenance, booking contractors, car repairs, and so on. Neither of us feels resentful or overwhelmed. Story 98. Resist the urge to use the terms always and never. They realistically do not always leave the toilet seat up. She realistically never asks about your day, or whatever the issue is. This keeps communication much more positive. Story 99. You just need to let a lot of things go. Your spouse is going to annoy you some days, but that does not mean they are not your person. Accept each other's quirks. Do not sweat the small stuff. Story 100. You both have to carry more than 50% of the workload in the relationship. The Venn diagram overlap is where the magic happens. Story 101. Communication and friendship are the two pillars. Spend intimate time on a regular basis, not always sex, but time with just the two of you. Schedule it if you have to. Story 102. When we are getting dressed in the morning, I ask him to help me choose which underwear I should wear. It is a chance to flirt with each other and start the day with a little romance. And he enjoys knowing what I have on under my outfit. It is like all-day foreplay. We have been together 7 years and still flirt like we just met. Story 103. Don't go to bed angry. This is advice I received from another couple on Reddit. It does not mean you have to resolve all your arguments in one day, but show some signs of love when you sleep together. Hold hands, touch feet, kiss each other, and so on. Remember, you are supposed to be on the same team. Story 104. I want stability, not peace. We will fight about it every single time. I do not want you to keep the peace and build resentment toward me for things I do not even know about. Story 105. Continue to laugh at the dad jokes long after they stopped being funny, because that is kind of the point of dad jokes. To me, what makes them funny is that my husband giggles like a schoolgirl whenever he tells the same annoying jokes he has told for 50 years. I like that it gives him joy. Story 106. Fearlessly pursue uncomfortable honesty. Some questions and topics are difficult to bring up, but hearing your partner's positions on tough subjects can be freeing. Whether you like the answer or not, you are no longer guessing. When you bring up something challenging and your partner works through it with you, it builds confidence in the relationship and in the ability to be open and honest about difficult matters in the future. Story 107. If your partner snores, it is okay to sleep in separate rooms. We got a sleep divorce about a year ago, and it is honestly the best thing we could have done. I was ready to kill her because of how loud she would snore. Now I am well rested, and we are as close as we have ever been. Story 108. Positive interaction to negative interaction ratio should be 5-to-1 for a lasting happy relationship according to some studies. Story 109. Spoken words of appreciation, plus purposeful daily romantic kissing and cuddling, plus spending time together walking and talking, plus cultivating teamwork, equals long-term happiness. Story 110. As much as you can, put down whatever you are doing and greet your partner when they get home with your full attention. My husband and I get up from what we are doing and give each other a huge hug and a kiss as soon as one of us gets home. It feels amazing when you are the one arriving from a long day. This sets the tone for the whole evening of being happy to see each other, connecting first, and hearing how their day was. Story 111. Maybe not unorthodox, but I work really hard at not keeping score. Like, I did the dishes last time, it's your turn. We both bring different skills and care about different things, so just embrace it. I have seen great partnerships crumble over issues like cleaning up. Be ready to do more than your fair share and understand and accept what expectations to have of your partner. Saves a lot of resentment. Story 112. Go to bed mad. It is okay. Usually, sleep and a clear head will help resolve the problem much faster than arguing while exhausted. Half the time for us, an argument starts because one of us is tired and a small misunderstanding escalates. Just go to bed and wake up better. Story 113. Communication, compromise, compassion. Tell them what you want and listen in return. Accept your differences, settle on the mutually beneficial, but never settle on anything that personally affects you. They have feelings and so do you. Did leaving the seat up upset you? And does he resent you for not emptying the trash? Communication. Does he want something that will make him happy and has no negative effect on you, other than he will be happy, which then makes you happy, and vice versa? Compromise. Did they support you during a really difficult time in your life, and did you support them during theirs? Compassion. Is it always like this? Absolutely not. But keeping it in mind definitely helps. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.